relatively new to the indie scene, but man,
Once I realized my playing days were over with and I just wasn't making no money playing football, I said it jokingly one day. I was like, you know what? I'm gonna be a pro wrestler.
if they put you in a ring with a 10-year guy, would you feel like you could be able to hang with?
I had the chance to wrestle Anthony Henry. He's been in WWE. He's signed with AEW now.
You say you're in a tag team, so tell me about how you met your tag team partner. What made you guys decide you wanted to team up?
I think that's when it clicked, and we were like, "Yo, we should start. We're either gonna wrestle each other a lot, or we're gonna become a tag team."
Alex Riley, who appears to have been complete, dad bodding it up for the last couple of years, came out of retirement. No wrestling gear on. He came out there. He was going to Walmart,
bro. No,
he some elbow pads on.
Bro was in his substitute teacher mode.
Where is Bray Wyatt?
Really anticlimactic end to such a monumental start.
Yeah.
He came back.
You right here, BJ. Mic check, 1, 2, and 2. Welcome back to Cultural Influence. We got our third wrestling guest, D'Angelo. Man, welcome to the show, man. It's a pleasure to have you. He's relatively new to the indie scene, but man, I'm looking forward to talking with you, man. How you doing?
Doing pretty good, man. How about you?
Doing good. I'm doing good, man. But welcome back to Cultural Influence. This is our third wrestling interview. It's a special episode here. We're going to talk about, we're just going to talk with D'Angelo about what his aspirations is in the wrestling. He's relatively new. We're going to talk about his training experience, and then we're going to play a little game later. We're back with Wrestling Family Feud. So let's go ahead and talk about who is D'Angelo. Like give us a good summary of who the D'Angelo wrestler is. The wrestler is, should I say?
So D'Angelo the wrestler is the same as D'Angelo the everyday person. I come from an athletic background. I played arena football for 2 years. I coach high school football. I'm just a vocal leader on and off the field and in and out of the ring. That's pretty much who I am. I enjoy what I do. I put a lot of passion into what I do, and I'm just a very fun person to be around. I'm very outgoing. I love being on the road. I love traveling with all my boys, and I've even got my fiance hooked on wrestling, and she's my biggest critic now. So yeah, we just love what I do, man.
I got my girl too hooked up.
Yeah. She's strapped.
Yeah.
No, so you say you came from an athletic background. You played arena football. What all sports did you play?
Well, growing up in high school, I played football, basketball, soccer. I ran track. I played a year of baseball. I just love being an athlete. Like I didn't like sitting in the house as a kid. I was just always finding something to do. And in all those sports, I ended up becoming a team captain, which I take pride in that. Like a lot of people don't, but that shows that I'm valuable to the team.
Nice.
And I mean that's how it is at my wrestling school now, at the Palmetto Wrestling Academy. I'm seen as one of the leaders. A lot of people that have been training longer than me, and some of the newcomers, they all look up to me, and I just like to set that example.
What made you want to get into wrestling? Was it always just a lifelong passion, or was it just something you was a fan of and were hesitant about jumping in? What made you want to do it?
So I was always a big fan growing up. Like I would always watch wrestling. Like that was my escape from reality. That was my escape from sports. Like the only time I was sitting home in front of a TV is when wrestling was on. So once I realized my playing days were over with and I just wasn't making no money playing football, I said it jokingly one day. I was like, you know what? I'm gonna be a pro wrestler. And I laughed about it. And then I started thinking about it. I was like, man, even if I just like wrestle in a high school gym or something every Saturday, I just want to say I did it. So then I got into it, and then my trainer, Ethan Case, he started hooking me up with so many connections and like showing me that I can make a career out of this. So I started taking it serious, and here I am. But I played a lot of football. I played some semi-pro before that. I won a championship with a team called the Palmetto Hurricanes down here in South Carolina. And I played in this like all-star game with this team up in New York called the Long Island Eagles. We went down to Texas and beat the dog snot out of their like go-to team. So but I played a lot of positions, man. I just love being on the field. And I mean, it's the same way I am with wrestling. Like I didn't care where I was playing. I didn't care what I had to do. I just wanted to be involved. And I mean, that's how I am with wrestling now. So
That's what's up, man. Yeah, I think we come from a similar background. I played football. I did track and stuff like that. And yeah, man, it's just one thing. I'm class of 2018, and I will say, man, you class 2018?
yes, sir.
Hey, let's go, man. You know what I'm saying? One time.
Yes, sir.
2018, we doing big things, baby. We doing big things. But yeah, like, man, I'm just having a hard, like, I still work out as much as I can and trying to stay in shape. It's an underrated aspect, man. And let's go ahead and get into that training, because I assume that with having an athletic background, was it an easy transition to go from football to getting in ring shape, basically?
Oh, most definitely. Most definitely. And my trainer, he did a good job of like helping stuff relate to the field. Like I struggled with running the ropes when I first got in. And he was like, get to the rope and do a spin move like you got the ball. So that I did it one time, and then like it's like a light bulb went off, and I was just like, oh shit. Like, yeah.
That's what's up, man.
But a lot of it's all a lot of it's the same footwork, believe it or not. So it's just figuring out how to make it different and not be the cookie cutter football player that you see coming into wrestling. That's why at first I didn't really like to talk about the fact that I was a football player before I got into wrestling, because I didn't want people to put me under that stereotype.
So you say you were trained by Ethan Case. How did you meet him and get into the wrestling school and everything?
So like I said jokingly one day that I wanted to be a wrestler, and his school was 20 minutes from my house. So I just pulled up one night, and I was shy. I was awkward. That was the first time in my life where I was in a situation where I was like, I don't know what I'm getting myself into. And, you know, I walked in, and he was very welcoming, and the team was very welcoming. And, you know, I went in with that mindset because, you know, I play a lot of 2K. So I went in with that mindset of like, oh, it's cutthroat. Everybody's at everybody's neck. And then I realized that everybody's just a big family, man. They were all in there just having fun, like putting on bangers in practice. And that's what really got me. I was like, you know what, they're doing this in practice, and this looks better than some stuff I see on TV. So I just got in, and you know, Ethan's always been good to me, man. He's become one of my best friends, and you know, I'm really glad I have him as a mentor and as a friend. He's a good person to be around, man.
What were some of your biggest struggles when you first got into training?
I struggled at first with I guess with flipping, like flip bumps, any kind of move where I had to flip, because I did have 2 concussions playing football, and my last one came from me flipping. So like, yeah, I was just like, I don't know about this flipping stuff, but once like it's the satisfaction of like finally nailing it and seeing that I can do it without breaking my neck that made me lock in and say, yeah, I can do this. And you know, now I'm a little more strategic, and I'm switching up my moveset a lot. I've dropped like 50 pounds since I started training. So
I did notice that. Yeah, I saw some of your clips from when you first started wrestling, man, and like I see the difference,
That's
man.
Crazy.
Right.
What was some major changes you made to make that dramatic change?
Honestly, it wasn't necessarily how much I was working out. It was more of what I ate. You know, I cut out a lot of fat. I cut out a lot of salt. I started drinking more water. I wasn't when I first started training, I wasn't doing all that. I was going to Sonic every night, you know, getting a burrito.
Hey, bro, guilty as charged, man.
Right.
Guilty as charged.
Late nights, man. Like you gotta get what you gotta get. But you know, I started looking at the food labels, and I try to stay under anything that's like 300 milligrams of sodium or higher. And like I locked in and stopped eating so much fast food, eating at home. That's more important than anything. And that's the one thing I learned.
Yeah, I'm getting there eventually. One thing I want to talk to you about is like I feel as if when you're a wrestler, you really never like when you talk to most, you can talk to even the advanced guys, even in WWE, but you get this feeling that a lot of guys really aren't done training. In your wrestling journey, as far as like where do you feel like you stay as far as like being able to hang with guys? Like if they put you in a ring with a 10-year guy, where would you feel like you could be able to hang with them?
Oh, most definitely. And I can attest to that because actually last week I had the chance to wrestle Anthony Henry, which he's a big name. He's been in WWE. He's signed with AEW now. And I mean, I've worked Anthony in training multiple times, but to finally do it live, like it came second nature to me because those guys are so smart when it comes to match structure and how to feel a crowd. So I mean, once you get in the ring, like it's honestly to me, it's easier to call with a vet than it is with guys my age because I can get in there and just listen to a vet and like just go off of them, play off of them. But I also learn in the process versus me being in the ring with someone at my experience level, and it's kind of like I kind of have to most of the time I have to take the reins and be like, hey man, like just get in there, slow down, have fun. That's the most important part.
How long were you training before you had your first match?
So I started training in November. Actually, I started training in February of 2021, and then I debuted in November of 2022.
Wow. So that's
yeah.
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 Some people, I understand that wrestling it varies. It varies to everybody, man. And like, when you got in that ring, was it smooth sailing in your very first match because you had been training for quite some time around that time, right?
Right. You know, like my debut match was crazy because as y'all know, I'm in a tag team with my boy Alex Xavier. And my debut match was against Ethan Case and Chip Day, who are two established wrestlers in the area. So like it was a whole lot of fun. Like I got a debut against my trainer. So I mean, I had no worries going into that match. And then I was nervous at first and he could tell I was nervous. So like when the show kicked off, he was like, hey, you're gonna come out and cut a promo. And I froze and I was like, you know what? He's doing this on purpose. He's trying to see if I'm actually ready. But then I get out there and like the crowd's hot. Like all my college friends are there. My mom's there. My great grandma's sitting there. Like I'm like, okay, I can't choke up now. Like
No pressure.
right.
Yeah.
It was a great night, man. It was an emotional night. Like once the match was over, man, I got a standing ovation. Like Ethan came and spoke highly of us, and that's when I finally broke down and realized what had taken place. So
So you say you're in a tag team. So tell me about how you met your tag team partner. What made you guys decide you wanted to team up?
So Xavier, he's been a part of my training process. He debuted back in May of 2021, I believe. And that was the first indie show that I'd ever went to. And like seeing him have that big payoff, and like he was the first from the school that I got to see have that moment. And you know, he's just always been there throughout training, and we put on some banger matches in training. Like I think there was one night they gave us like 25, 30 minutes and we just went at it. And I think that's when it clicked. And we were like, yo, we're either gonna wrestle each other a lot or we're gonna become a tag team. So we sat down and I pitched to him because like I looked at his promo pics and like I always throw the flex. That's always been my thing. So I was like, hey man, why don't we come up with this team and call it flex? And he was like, what's the meaning behind it? And I was like, instead of us going out and like, oh yeah, flex, it's a message to like flex on your haters, flex on people that doubt you like that. So when people ask us like, what does flex mean? It's not necessarily like muscle or like it's more of a we're flexing on everybody that said that we couldn't do it. You know what I'm saying?
I totally get that. That's nice. I like that.
That is nice, man. That is nice, man. Yeah. So with being in a tag wrestling, was the training, did you kind of have to go through a certain layer of training because you're trained to be a singles competitor and then you form a tag team? Was there a hard or a complicated transition? How did the transition go?
Honestly, so Ethan, he has a night through the week that's dedicated to tag wrestling. So we come in, we have tag night, we watch tag film because he's a big tag team guy because he made his big break as a tag team wrestler at PWX when that was the thing back in the day. And like he's very passionate about tag wrestling. So we went to him and was like, hey, this is what we want to do. And you know, it was an easy switch because it was like it's basically like calling a singles match, but trying to make it work with 4 people, you know? And
Of course.
I feel like it's easier. It's easier for me because I get gas quick, so I know I can like. But my partner, he's a high flyer, so I can let him go out and just do his thing, and I can sit there and like gas for air on the ropes until hot tag. But I don't know. I just feel like we have a even mix because I feel like I'm the kind of do it all type of guy. I can do the heavy stuff. I can do the lucha. I can do the flips, and then my partner is just gonna get out there and cut like 5-6 flips at a time. So I just feel like we have a good little mix, and I mean, it's like we're under the same mindset every time we come to the ring, every time we're out there doing our thing, and it's been a blast, and we've been blessed to work some of the best teams in the area. Like we worked the Reality, which is Chance Riser and Patrick Scott, who are two phenomenal athletes who I see getting signed in the next, hopefully 2-3 years. Like there's some really good guys, man. And we learned a lot from them. Like I said, working Ethan and Chip, working against Anthony, that was a tag match because we were originally scheduled to work the Workhorsemen, which is Anthony and JD Drake, but Drake has some stuff with AEW or whatnot.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
Of course.
I mean, I take advantage of those opportunities, man, because that's why I tell my partner, like, when those guys come in, like, we have to be a sponge and just soak up everything. Like, yeah, and I'm a big film junkie, so like when we get our tapes or whatnot back from the shows, yes, I watch my highlights because I like to post my stuff on social media, as y'all know. But I also break down like everything we could have did different as a team, moments where we could have like implemented the tag team traits instead of the single traits. And I mean, I feel like as long as we're learning something from every match, that we're just gonna get better. Like, because I don't think I can look back so far and say that we haven't got better from the next match. I don't think we've had any setbacks at all, and I'm proud of that. So
that's great, man. And the good thing about it is you're just always having fun, man. Even just something as simple as this podcast. I mean, if you see my first episode and you see how things have just evolved over the time, man, it just gets better with time, man.
Yeah,
right.
Bro. Learn through repetition, man. Who were some of your inspirations? Like, was there anybody you wanted to mimic your style off of, or who inspired your in-ring style?
I don't necessarily. There are a lot of guys I look to for inspiration. Anthony's one of them. Like I've always watched Anthony because he was the big name when I first got into wrestling. Who else? I don't necessarily say that I mimic my style off of people because I don't want to be the second version of someone else. I want to be the first D'Angelo.
You want to be, yeah.
So, I mean, now if I can be watching something random because I like at my day job, I keep wrestling on in the background, in my classroom or whatnot, because I do the educational thing or whatnot. But I keep wrestling on in the background. Like I'll see somebody hit something, and I'll be like, ooh. So I clip that and I try it. So, but I don't necessarily have like the inspiration. I mean, I do have a lot of guys, which I'm gonna talk about Ethan a lot, with him being one of my best friends. He's one of those guys that I look up to, and I can't really say I could take any of his moves because he's big on hitting a cutter, and I hit a cutter one show and I came to the back. He was like, "Stop hitting cutters." That's my thing. I was like, you know what? Never hitting a cutter again. But
okay, so have you ever heard of Sterling Bond?
Yes, I have. Yes.
Okay, we had him on the show a couple times, man, and he had what they call the cutter from the heavens.
Yeah.
And like, is he open to any variations of the cutter, or is that a no touch at all?
Right. That was me with Moose, because I will say that Moose is one of my favorite wrestlers, and
we met.
With him coming from that football background, I always wanted to hit that spear with the flip because I thought it was pretty, and then I actually hit one, and I was like, you know what? I'm gonna just hit my regular spear because this whole flip deal ain't for me.
Yeah, you said you weren't a flip guy, so
I mean, I'm gravitating towards like becoming a flip guy, quote unquote. I guess that's with me dropping a little bit of weight, but my natural spear is just so pretty. So
yeah, I saw it. It was
not
really
to brag,
nice.
but
Nice.
I throw that thing. You know what I'm saying?
You used to throwing them. So
I mean, yeah, football, yeah,
it comes naturally.
agree, man, agree. What move have you ever had in that one? I mean, as a football player, when you first get on that field, there's that welcome to the. I feel like I played defensive end and stuff like that, and every now and then I played fullback. But like, was there ever that, you know how you had that one hit where it's like, all right, this is what it's like. What move for you was like, all right, welcome to wrestling?
Hmm. Trying to think. Okay. So when we worked Anthony in the tag match, that Joker hit the double stomp, and I forgot all about it, so I didn't breathe. So he lands like right here in my sternum, and I'm just like gasping for air. So I guess that would have to be my one. So I mean everything was clean, like that was clean too. But like, yeah, that was most definitely my one. Where it's like, yeah, you doing this for real now.
Yeah, now getting the air knocked out of you will bring some reality to your world for real.
It really will. So what move is there a move? So obviously in that situation, you was receiving. Was there a move that you delivered that is like, oh, okay, I might need to pull back off of for a sec? Because we see a lot of guys, Randy Orton, that wear and tear from the RKO, he's hurt them. You Hulk Hogan, something as simple as just dropping the leg, although I hate mentioning him on the show, but my point is, dropping that leg, you kind of, for years upon years, it takes a toll. What move do you feel like, okay, I can't, if I see myself doing wrestling, this move I'm gonna need to pull out when it's something big? Because even one of my favorites, AJ Styles, he doesn't, that you're never going to see a spiral tap in the WWE. Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. I kind of keep my moveset. I change my moveset up a lot. I don't really, other than like my spear, I don't try to hit the same stuff because I always want the crowd to see something different. I was hitting like this sit out spine buster for a while, but like that started hurting my lower back. So I was like, yeah, let me not hit that as much.
Yeah.
So I guess that'll be my one. But I mean, other than that, like everything else I hit is pretty clean, and like I said, I'm always changing, always evolving. So
we did an interview with Willie Finesse, and he was saying how he didn't have a finisher for a while because he wanted to end his matches, however. And you said you like to keep it fresh yourself. So do you have a finisher, or is it just like, well, how I beat you is how you get beat?
I guess that would be the case. All throughout training, I use the spear as my finisher, but now the spear is something like that I pull out to catch everybody's eye. I don't really finish a match with it. Okay. But I have one with it. I've won with my sling blade. But like my most recent few matches have been either a roll up or something of that sort. So
okay, cool.
Gotta keep the crowd on their feet.
Right.
But you had mentioned at your day job, you always have wrestling playing in the background. What is, I don't know like how often you be on the social media stuff, but it's kind of died down a little bit, thank God. But like, where do you stand in the whole? What is your main promotion? Because there's AEW, there's WWE. Those are the two main juggernauts. Like, and then there's TNA, there's PWI, there's so many wrestling promotions, man. What is your what is your schedule, your watch schedule in wrestling?
So I try to catch the highlights from all of them. I will sit and watch Dark from time to time because I end up seeing a lot of people I know working Dark for AEW. So I tend to watch that. Say it again.
You know Baron Black by any chance?
Yes, I do.
Okay, yeah, I saw him on Dark, and I was like, "Yo," because I followed him a lot over the time, man. So yeah, man, shout outs to Baron Black, man.
Yeah, I tend to watch Dark. I do like to watch Impact. I mean, obviously, because my favorite wrestler is there, and I feel like that's it's always been one of those slept on shows like throughout the years, and I really enjoy the product, and that's somewhere where I could see myself going anywhere. Like I'm hoping for anything, but I feel like I can vibe with that locker room. I like to watch Ace Austin. I got to meet him in person a couple of months back. He's a really cool guy. Chris Bay, like all those guys, man. They're all good people.
Chris Bay, man. Chris Bay is awesome. Yeah.
most definitely. A buddy of mine, Kevin Knight, he just recently debuted on Impact. Him and Kushida are doing the tag tournament or whatnot. But
Oh.
yeah, I met him at a New Japan show, man. He was just so down to earth, like because we were doing like security or whatnot for New Japan, and like we were sitting up at the we were sitting up in the top area or whatnot, and he just came in and like sat during the opening of the show, and like I'm like, yo, this dude's cool. I didn't even know who he was at the time, and like we were just laughing and chatting it up, and then he just disappeared. Next thing I know, he's walking down the ramp. I was like, hey, ain't that bro we were just talking to? No, he showed out. He definitely made me a fan of his, and we keep in contact, and he's a good dude. So glad to see him doing good things. And but yeah, I like to watch everything, man. I'll type in indie wrestling on YouTube and just watch some random stuff, or I'll go back and watch some old like CZW or something like that. I watch a little bit of everything. I I sometimes like at night when I'm trying to fall asleep, but then it ends up keeping me up because I get invested in it. I'll put on some like '80s All Japan, and I'll just watch those guys beat the mess out of each other, bro. And it's just I end up staying up till like 3, 4 o'clock in the morning. I have to turn the TV off. Like,
So what you saying? You watch everything. What are your thoughts on the intense tribalism amongst the fandom? Because like I don't know if you ever just get caught up in the Twitter wars or the social media wars, but it's always your yang yang yang. Everybody going back and forth. How do you feel about fans bickering?
I try to stay out of it. You know, it's kind of like the LeBron and Kobe thing. Like they're both great. You know what I'm saying? I'm not gonna sit here and go back and forth and argue about two rich guys that like they're both rich, they're both successful. Like, why am I gonna go back and forth about them? Like it's gonna benefit me.
Yeah.
Like, they're gonna know like I'm not gonna argue down that WWE is better than AEW. That's not gonna give me sign. Because then I go online and say that, and then that messes up opportunity with me with AEW. We're like they're like, if you feel that way, then I guess we won't offer you then.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So like I think
Yeah, really.
yeah. I think the sport of professional wrestling is like it's at a high, and I think it's going to continue to take off. And I think a lot of these indie promotions are going to take off. There's a lot of young talent, especially like where I'm at in the Carolinas. There's so much young talent, man. And
but let's go ahead. So there's this part in the script that I sent you. I think there's this. Me and Richie was talking about this. We do a lot here on Cultural Influence, but we also talk about like what are the what the controversy in wrestling. We talk about like what are the problems in wrestling, and me and Richie was talking about like there's this lost art in a gimmick. And so as far as where does the gimmick go, where does the gimmick process go for you in your wrestling journey?
So for me, especially like I relied on the football gimmick for throughout my training, and you know, I came up with this whole gimmick of myself being the big time player. And you know, and my slogan was, you know, big time players make big time plays. And you know, at first it was cool, and I after a while I was like, you know, I feel like this would get played out. And my fiance, who I said is my biggest critic, she was like, yeah, that'll get played out. Like people get tired of seeing the football guy. Like bring it out every once in a while, but don't make it my whole ordeal. So I feel like the best gimmicks are when guys are just being themselves and just bringing that out, like
turning it up
like,
to 1,000.
yeah, turning it up a notch. So I mean that's kind of my thing, man. Like I'm me. I can go out and it also depends on the crowd. Like I can go out and be that explosive guy that I was on the football field, or like if I have to go somewhere where the crowd is not wanting to see that, then I'll dial it back and I'll do something else. I'll just go out there and talk trash, you know?
Okay.
Do you find it more enjoyable playing towards the heel side or near the face side?
So I got approached by a promoter this past weekend, and he was like, hey man, are you more comfortable working face or heel? And I was like, man, I can do either one. Like I can make these people love me, or I can make them hate my guts. Yeah. And well, not necessarily hate my guts. My saying is I can make them love me, or I can make them love to hate me. So he was like, well, we really need a heel. So he put me in like the 6-man tag match or whatnot. And I didn't do much in the ring, but I talked so much trash on the apron. Like there was this old lady with her phone out, and like her husband was sitting behind her, and like I kept like heckling on him. I was like, "Hey man, you better get grandma, or she come home with me." And, like a lot of people came up to me after the show, and they were like, "Dude, you do your job very well. Like I couldn't stand you, but I want to take a picture with you. Can you sign this?" Like, and I feel like that shows me that I'm doing something right. Because I mean, I'm only 10 matches in my career.
Wow.
And when I tell people that, they're like, "There's no way." And I'm like, "Yeah, like I've only been around since November, man." So
That's awesome, dude. That's awesome. So when you said you like to play, you can do either or. And then you was talking about like what is one of the most rewarding things for you as a pro wrestler?
the interactions with fans that I have at shows, like I don't think I've been to a show where I haven't had fans come up and just talk to me, or ask to take pictures, or just have a genuine conversation. Like and a lot of times, like, because I sold out of gear at my I sold out of my merch at my debut show. So I've been trying to get merch back since, and I can't really keep it in because every time I get it, I sell it. So
That's great.
I
man, I'm saying, dude.
no, like I enjoy showing up to shows, and like I'll put some stuff out, but like I don't just stand behind my gimmick table. Like I'll stand in front. That way I can have those conversations and take those pictures up close. Because I mean, I see a lot of guys, they sit at their gimmick table and they just try to sell like, "Oh yeah, I got t-shirts for this and that." Like any t-shirt sale I've made, I was not sitting there saying like, "Oh yeah, my t-shirts are $20, this and that." Like I was just having genuine conversations, and I let the fans bring up the fact that they want t-shirts. Because it's not about the sale at the end of the day for me. Like, yeah, I enjoy making money. Don't get me wrong. Like, if you're in this, like, wrestling sucks too much to not make money. But I mean, I could try to sell and just focus on selling to fans, like selling my merch, or I can build those bonds and build those relationships to where they want to bring more people out, and then I get more sales that way. And it's a strategy, but it also teaches you how to network and teaches you how to be a good person, man. Like
And that's like the fun part for the fans. Like they love that. I remember we went to a show and we like met Sting and Kevin Nash, but like the best moments we had were chopping it up with Chris Masters and talking to Moose. Like we legit just had like real conversations with these guys like on the side. And it was like, meeting people who wrestled through the golden age of wrestling. But it was just like, just really seeing like the human side. Like we were just talking about basketball
with Chris Masters.
3 hours.
We was, man.
It was so dope. So yeah, like you said, it's building those connections and those bonds with fans that they really remember at a live show. So have you met anybody at these shows that you were starstruck at? You said you met the guy backstage at the New Japan show. Has there been anybody that you've been on the card with that you were like, yo, who's that?
Yeah.
So this was before I debuted, when we were still helping with PWX up in Charlotte, North Carolina, and it was Anthony Henry's return to the Indies from WWE, and he was in the main event against Minoru Suzuki. So we're doing ring setup, and I turn around, like we just finished the ring or not, we're just all like chit chatting around, and then the building gets quiet. And you just see Suzuki just walking around, like brushing his teeth, and everybody's just like starstruck. Like, I'm like, yo, that's Minoru Suzuki. What the heck? And I got to hang out with him after the show and like got to take a picture with him or whatnot. And I just like, one thing I realized is that these guys are human just like all of us. And I remember how I felt in that moment. And I just can't wait till I'm at that point in my career where people come up to me and they're like starstruck. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That's
I'm even scared, because Minoru, he gotta go hard, especially on the new
Right.
guys.
Yeah.
I'm like, hey man.
I'm definitely not trying to work him in that case, dude. Like, yeah. Yeah. The only wrestler that really just like really starstruck me was when I met Jeff. Like I met Jeff on 2 different occasions, man. And Jeff Hardy, I don't where do you stand on the Jeff Hardy? Because like there's this thing on social media where Jeff Hardy has like a great connection with Black people and stuff like that. Like, are you on the Jeff Hardy wave?
Jeff Hardy is most definitely invited to the cookout. Look, so Jeff Hardy was my favorite wrestler growing up, and he came to the autograph signing in Columbia, and the signing was at like 11 that day, and I got to the venue at 7 so I could be first in line, and I waited out there for 4 hours to be first in line, but it was worth it.
Yeah,
it was
It
worth
was definitely worth it.
I don't think a lot of guys realize that, like, when you're in the indies, it's also a business, and you're in some form, you're promoting yourself, man. And so I just wanted to like really just applaud you and say, man, that's great. That like just seeing how you still you don't count out the little moments. You're very interactive and stuff, man. Because there's that. Because I'm about to graduate, and like we're being taught we're being taught to promote ourselves, and even in a professional environment like wrestling, a lot of people don't really think about that stuff, man.
Right.
And so that's just great, man. Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah. Like from the way you promote yourself on social media, I thought you had been wrestling much longer. So
You couldn't tell me no different.
yeah.
Right.
That's good.
And I think that a lot of people think that, like, eventually, I like how you said just to get signed. And I mean, like, you mentioned it earlier. You're like, I don't really care who I get signed by, but just being able to provide. You had mentioned intrigue from Impact. You had mentioned intrigue from AEW, and I'm with WWE. You're talking with a scout from there, man. And I think that's another hidden thing that a lot of people don't really catch and understand, because when they first become a wrestler, like, make it to WWE. And
yeah, you don't have to go there to make a good living. Like you said, like you could go to Impact and be super straight, or you can just be a consistent working on the indies and be straight. Like
I'm saying, dude. Yeah, we see it all the time. We see guys who never step foot in the league and be just fine.
Straight up.
Right. All right, and I think that's my goal going forward. I do want to branch out and work more shows on the indies. I enjoy working in the Carolinas, but there's so much young talent that it can become overpopulated. So it's like, let me start branching out. Like I've reached out to some shows in Texas. I reached out to some shows in Georgia. So I mean, like, if y'all recommend any shows, man, like I'm down to work anywhere. I just want to get my name out there, like promote my school, promote my craft. Like,
hey, man,
I'm down to wrestle anywhere. When it comes to like talking to promoters and stuff like that, that's the first thing that I put out, that, hey, I can pay for my own travel. I can pay for my own stay. Like, just give me a place to work.
Pick a third person to make a stable with.
Moose.
All right. If you could have anyone make your entrance music, who would it be?
What's his name? John Kiernan.
Okay. Name the first wrestler that you played with in a wrestling game.
Jeff Hardy.
Pick a manager to represent you.
MVP.
Who is the first wrestler that comes to mind when I say the word GOAT?
Will Ospreay.
What was the first weapon you would go for in a death match?
A baseball bat. I don't know.
First snack you grab after a match?
Oh, yeah, easy. Pistachios.
Pistachios, all right, cool.
Pistachios, my man. Yeah, all right.
Well, man, it's been a pleasure having you on the show, man. I look forward to seeing what you do in the future. And hey, man, please, if you got any spare time, and if I got some spare time and stuff like that, I would love to have you back on the show, man, for sure.
Oh yeah, man. I'm down anytime.
Thank you.
But before you go, put yourself over, man. Tell everybody where they can find you, where they can buy merch, where they can follow you.
Get your link tree out there. Yeah.
All right, so I'm on. Let me look them up. I'm on Instagram at d.angelo_81. Same for my TikTok, and then Twitter, I believe, is d'angelo_81. Those are the three that I'm most active on. So I'm working on a link for merch. So maybe next time that I'm on the podcast, I can give y'all a link for merch. But other than that, you know where to find me. My inbox is always open to answer questions and anything like that.
But until next time, we'll catch you later.
All right, y'all.
Yo, mic check, 1 2 1 2. It's your boy right here. Welcome back to Cultural Influence. You see the graphic, we're bringing back Raw Reactions. And for those of you who don't know about Raw Reaction, I think this is really just our second time doing it. But Raw Reactions is just where we take videos from all over the world, wrestling related, obviously, and we just react to them. Now, this is by What Culture. I love What Culture, man. They're a very popular wrestling community on YouTube. But they just did this one video where they talked about 10 things that AEW needs to stop doing immediately. And here on Cultural Influence, I don't know if you guys have been listening, but every now and then I'm very opinionated about AEW. But I mean, like, you know, I'm gonna try my best and try and defend AEW in this regard. So let's check them out.
Didn't. Number 8, those dreadful tag team names. Jungle Hook, FT Wardlow, Thunderstorm, Swerve in Our Glory, TJ, Warjoe, Hookhausen. Oh, okay, Hookhausen isn't actually that bad. But those other names are all painful examples of tag names that have been featured in AEW so far. With all of those acts, it's not like they joined the promotion with those names already in place. Nope. Instead, someone came up with those names and genuinely thought they sounded like a great idea. And in most cases, one would have to presume that the person coming up with that name, or at least giving their seal of approval, would be Tony Khan. By taking one element of wrestler A's name and adding it to one element of wrestler B's name, all that does is make the act in question sound like it was created by a 12-year-old who was naming tandems and factions for their universe mode on WWE 2K22.
Nah, I'm with him on this one. Yeah, cut that shit out.
Yeah. I mean, where do you think they're coming from in this regard? Like, why do you think?
You want to put a little bit up together. Some of it flows like he's Swerving Our Glory. I thought was fire.
I thought it was too. Yeah.
Hookhausen is cool. You know, Jungle Hook. You know, that's a little iffy, but I draw the line of Thunderstorm.
Okay.
Number 6, Battle of the Belts in its current form. Today, there have been 5 Battle of the Belt specials, with a 6th scheduled for this April. Yet these events just aren't clicking in their current format. Of course, AEW is tied to delivering quarterly specials for TNT, but surely there has to be something better than this that the promotion can do with those quarterly slots. Currently, Battle of the Belts events are just there, serving no purpose, providing no drama, and being completely and utterly skippable if you're looking to see something newsworthy take place. Yes, Battle of the Belts has housed some very decent wrestling bouts across those 5 outings so far, but nothing of significant note has happened on any of these shows. And the most prestigious belt of all, as in the AEW World Championship, has yet to feature on these offerings. To show how little suspense there is for Battle of the Belts specials, there has so far been a total of 15 matches to take place under the Battle of the Belts banner, and in all 15 instances, the respective champions have retained their gold. Not just that, but the contests themselves rarely drum up even the slightest uncertainty when it comes to who will emerge victorious. Not to knock any of the talents involved, but did anyone really think that Dustin Rhodes was going to beat Sammy Guevara to become TNT champion at the first Battle of the Belts? How about Nyla Rose beating Thunder Rosa for the AEW Women's title at Battle of the Belts 2? Or Jay Lethal taking the TNT title from Wardlow at Battle of the Belts 3? Maybe the Gates of Agony besting FTR to become tag team champions at Battle of the Belts 4? Heck, what about Sky Blue being the one to bring an end to Jade Cargill's record-setting reign as the TBS champ at Battle of the Belts 5. While some of those named matches featured pretty solid wrestling, nobody in their right mind genuinely thought a title would be changing hands.
I agree, man. Yeah, I remember the first Battle of the Belts seemed pretty important, but then after that, they just dwindled in, importance, and the ratings reflect that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I don't know what else they can. They don't have many pay-per-views. They do quarterly pay-per-views. So I think it would be cool if they were to, build those up just a little bit more, treat them like kind of a bigger deal than what they currently are.
I think Winter is Coming is pretty cool, though.
I think Winter is Coming is very cool, too. I also just want to say that Willow Nightingale is beautiful. She was really, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I thought she was nice. Jade Cargill kind of caught my eye.
Jade,
as always,
bad
though,
too,
man.
but Willow's underrated, man. That's
Okay.
Number 5, promo interruptions. One of the most annoying elements of professional wrestling is realizing that the only reason a wrestler is stood in the ring cutting a promo is so that somebody else can come out and interrupt that promo. This is something that is so often prevalent in WWE, and it's a problem that AEW likewise has had since the company's inception. In the case of WWE, there's at least a small chance that a talent will get to finish their words without interruption. Unfortunately, in AEW, AEW, you can have entire episodes of Dynamite or Rampage that go by without a single star being able to unload their entire diatribe. For the AEW haters, this has been one facet of the promotion's programming that has been a piece of low-hanging fruit to poke fun at. And while promo interruptions obviously have a role to play in any and all wrestling shows, the sheer number of these interruptions throughout a regular Dynamite is often comical. Whether it's in the ring or backstage, so few AEW promo segments play out without another wrestler entering from stage left or stage right.
Sorry, I'm gonna let this finish, but I totally agree.
Yeah, it is kind of hard for wrestlers to show off their talent when they're constantly interrupted.
Yeah. People, that's the big knock on WWE is that they have scripts and all that, but the fact that they have scripts let you know they're gonna finish talking.
Yeah,
they're
fact.
Gonna get this point across and they're gonna say what they gotta say. But AEW, you be lucky to get a sentence finished before somebody comes out and cuts you off. But I like that about wrestling. Like if somebody's gonna be at the talking trash, hey, put your money where your mouth is.
They did that last night with MJF, man.
I loved it. You know what I'm saying? And that turned into a great segment. You know?
The 4 pillars in AEW.
4 of them, baby.
Yeah.
Facts.
I mean, but like I see where he's coming from in that video because I think he's just pretty much just saying basically you forget that some guys can talk and be charismatic because they're always interrupted. They're not allowed. And as we've seen in the book that we read, we will do a podcast about that later, that TV time is very valuable.
Oh, very much so. Very much so. And yeah, guys like, Ricky Starks or Ethan Page who have very underrated mic skills. They never really get the chance to showcase those as often as they should.
Yeah,
so I agree.
You can see MJF on there swearing and stuff real hard.
Oh, MJF gonna get his off.
He gonna get his off.
MJF gonna get his mic every week.
Right, previously on Ridiculousness Cultural Influence Edition. Shout outs to NWA, man. They're actually an underrated wrestling promotion. They got some bodies stepping in there, man. They're underrated. You don't think NWA is great?
And the NWA seen better days, brother.
They've seen better days. Oh my gosh.
As we're going to see with this clip, Alex Riley, who appears to have been complete, dad bodding it up for the last couple of years, came out of retirement. And I was, initially excited when I heard about it, but when I seen it, I didn't really know what was going on here,
Opportunity to get a pin. Oh, here we go.
He's in trouble.
They tagged down hard.
Like, what was he? First of all, my man had no wrestling gear on. He came out there. He was going to Walmart.
Bro, no,
he some elbow pads on.
Bro was in his substitute teacher mode.
You know what I'm saying? My man looked like he did not need to be there. Everything about that. Can you just redo that for us?
Let's redo it, man.
Opportunity to get a pin. Oh, here we go.
He's in trouble.
They tagged down hard.
I feel like he jumped and he knew at the last second.
It was at this moment that he knew. He fucked up.
This wasn't a good idea, but it was too late. Rewind that one more time.
Eat a 2-week-old unrefrigerated pie. Dumb ways to die. So many dumb ways.
He didn't even hit the dude. It's like he tried to hold on to the pole and it just didn't.
One thing I've learned about diving, you never take off on one leg.
Especially when you haven't been doing it for a while.
Yeah, you never do it on one leg, man.
Hello, my name's Alex Riley. You're watching Dumbass.
Alex Riley didn't even high fly when he was in WWE. When he was at the peak of his powers, he didn't, did he?
I don't remember it. And I would think a guy like Alex Riley would be capable of just a dive outside of the ring, but he looked like he was in no condition to be there. And I felt bad because I was excited when they were like, oh, he's going to be wrestling at this event. And sometimes it's just best to stay on the sidelines, guys. Jeez.
Yeah, man. Yeah. Yeah, it's been a while. It's probably been every bit of 10 years since he was in WWE about 2015, 2016.
Was he?
Yeah, when that whole Kevin Owens stuff. Remember that whole Rage stuff? His gimmick was Rage.
Man.
Yeah.
And he was one of those guys I feel like kind of got a bad rap. I always thought he had something. He had a decent look. He was built well, stuff like that. But
pretty charismatic. He could get some heel heat going and stuff, man.
But everybody can't be the superstars, though,
Yeah, man. We wishing you better, Alex Riley.
But yeah, if you're going to come back, just come better than that.
All right, guys. So I think, once again, we was talking about this with D'Angelo. There's this hidden art in finding your gimmick and stuff like that. And sometimes finding your gimmick, it requires you to do things to go above and beyond the wrestling world. We've seen Bray Wyatt go to do jury duty in character. We've seen so many wrestlers do. That's just one of the things that's coming to my mind.
I
But
mean, John Cena dropped the whole album to stay in character.
yeah, man.
Miz made movies to stay in character.
The Undertaker never went out in public, really wore dark clothes to stay in character.
You know?
But this particular man, Trick Williams, shout outs to NXT, shout outs to Trick Williams, shout outs to Carmelo Hayes, the whole group, man. But Trick Williams have made an official music video called Good Looking Wrestler. Now, this isn't the first time that you've seen a wrestler do a few music videos. Shout outs to Miz and John Morrison doing Hey Hey Ho Ho Ho.
Or all of the R-Truth videos, the little Jimmy rap video. I'm sure we're forgetting some. There's been tons of
for sure. Vince McMahon, Stand Back.
Oh my God, that wasn't rap. That wasn't rap, bro.
Hey, it counts.
Got a bad rap.
But let's check you out, Trick.
Hey, yo, check my mic up. Hey, yo, it's 2023, it's a new year. I'm Trick Williams, and I'm tired of all the disrespect around here, you know? There's a reason why I'm me and you. I told you a long time ago, I'm calling out all you bums, bobbleheads, and bootlickers. We can strap with the boot to make the ring talk, it really don't matter, cause I've been about it. This is how we're gonna do it. Yeah. See, I'm a good-looking wrestler, I ain't trying to stunt. I'm a good-looking wrestler, I ain't trying to stunt. Boy, I'm a good-looking
Oh my God. He really had me hooked. You know how like most music videos have that hook? I'm like, yo, I'm getting the World Star vibe, the look and everything. This man get on there and start singing and start talking. No, he starts talking shit.
He starts talking. That's Tricky Willie do, man. You know, and I don't know if a lot of people know this, but this is a flip of an old Lil Wayne song that came out on Dedication 2, which is actually a flip of an old UNLV song. But
okay.
Yeah. Let's see what Trick got.
Let's hear it, man. Let's hear it.
In the front, I'm a good-looking wrestler, I ain't trying to front. Boy, I'm a good-looking wrestler, I ain't lying to you. I'm a good-looking wrestler, I ain't lying to you. You might see me in the mirror painted navy blue, or a ruby GT sitting on 22s. I'm a swaggy young boy, yeah, swaggy mother effer. My shirt always open and my pants always leather. My words kinda clever, but I walk like a king. Look like $1 million when I walk to the ring. Got some diamond crescent shades, kinda brown off beige. MK watch with the matching diamond.
You sound like Riley from the Boondocks when the Gangsta dropped on me over.
I ain't gonna lie, to be kinda hot.
Oh shit! You really acting like Riley right now, bro. Oh my God.
Guess what it said? I love you, Tricky. I love all your ways. And then I said, okay. Shawty caught feelings like she's OBJ. If you looking for some love, then my name is no way. Not tomorrow, not today, not yesterday. Call me Mr. Promo, that's what they say. And the name fits me like it's tailor-made. I can beat you in the ring, I can beat you in the cage. That's hell in a cell or even war games. If you looking for some love, then my name is no way. Not tomorrow, not today, not yesterday. I'm a good-looking wrestler, I ain't trying to stand. I'm a good-looking wrestler, I ain't trying to stand. I'm a good-looking wrestler, I ain't trying to front. I'm a good-looking wrestler, I ain't trying to front. I'm a good-looking wrestler, I ain't lying to you. I'm a good-looking wrestler, I ain't lying to you. You might see me in the mirror painted navy blue, or a ruby GT sitting on 22. Last week I met a chick, fine as hell, good looking. She said her name Nisha, but I can call.
Hey, yo, man, I gotta give an applause. I gotta give an applause.
Did you really try out war games? Nah. Oh shoot, nah. Hey, Trick was going crazy. The way he was flipping Wayne bars. Oh
my
man.
Goodness. So that's what we on now, man.
Oh, man.
Is that what we on, man? I don't even think Trick was serious in the midst of all of this, man. He couldn't have been.
Oh.
You know, I thought he was advancing a feud. Man, it's just promoting himself. Maybe that's a part of the gimmick,
That's a part of the gimmick,
Oh
baby.
my God.
Get yourself over out here.
Hey, yo, man, he put his own self
That
over. We
was
don't even got to put
great.
him over. Man, let's go ahead and put him over, man.
Please. Oh my God, that was hilarious. Way to go, Trick.
Yo, shout outs to Trick Williams, man.
That's all it's going.
Shout outs to Trick, man.
Oh, that was dope.
No, and I really like how it's like really a 4-minute song, man.
Yeah.
Like he, the modern day music, it don't even last no longer than 2 minutes.
Yeah.
He gave you a full verse. He gave you multiple
full verses. He like the hook rock, and he had the intro and the outro on the song.
Yeah, hey, do you think Trick? He has some fine baddies in there,
He
man.
has some baddies, and the Trick to stay with one, don't he?
Yeah, AO Trick, do your thing, man.
Do your thing.
Yo, mic check, 1 2 1 2. It's your boy right here. Welcome back to Cultural Influence. Shout outs to D'Angelo for the great wrestling interview, man. So that man's going places, man.
Yeah, shout outs to that brother, man. Great talent on the come up.
Yeah.
I better look out for him.
Look out for him. But this wouldn't be Cultural Influence if we didn't have hot tags. Let's get it. All right. So as of this recording, where is Bray Wyatt?
Ooh, man.
Where is Bray Wyatt?
So yeah, man, talk to him, Richie. Tell him what's going on, man.
So you know, word on the streets was Bray Wyatt had walked out. Everybody and their mama was trying to tell us a couple days ago that Bray Wyatt walked out WWE. You know what I'm saying? Turns out Bray Wyatt just had an undisclosed injury and is gone for a while now. So we don't really know what the situation may be. But I think it's just best to give him our thoughts and prayers and hope for a speedy recovery to come on.
You good. But there's been talks about him leaving for creative differences and all of that type of good stuff. And man, I really just don't know. I don't think Bray Wyatt's the type of guy to rock the boat back there like it is with Hunter.
I mean, maybe so, maybe not. We don't really know. But I will say it would be really anticlimactic end to such a monumental start. He came back with so much fanfare and so much hype around him, and I would hate to see it just kind of go out on a fizzle. We never really got to see anything pay off. So hopefully these are all just rumors and Bray Wyatt comes back and works WrestleMania, because I really want to see him reach that potential that we all know he has.
Yeah. And speaking of reaching out that potential, let's go ahead and segue. L.A. Knight. Yeah. Man, I'm telling you. Dummy. Yeah. Yeah, but man, he's been making his way on on social media for the wrong reasons.
Oh, man.
But the good news is, before we get too deep, I don't want to make it sound like it's just a horrible thing, man. Shout outs to L.A. Knight for being a professional and just cleaning up all the rumors that started to circulate, man. So.
Yeah. Somebody put out an unsavory photo of, well, not even unsavory, but an old photo of him and Becky Lynch. I don't know.
Yeah, there's 2 pictures. There's one with him. Yeah. They're taking a picture with his arm around, and there's one with him on her neck, with her on his neck and stuff like that. And everyone, all the fans just start acting all out of character and stuff like that. Now, granted, y'all, Becky and LA Knight, they look a lot younger in this picture.
Yeah, it's definitely an older pic, I don't know. It's like that whole situation where Mia Yim was taking a picture with Austin Theory, and everybody were acting like she was in the back room cheating on Maury. Like it was the weirdest thing. But as we all know, the internet can blow things out of proportion, and I'm pretty sure that is just another case of what this is.
That's all it is, man. So yeah, shout outs to LA Knight.
But speaking of LA Knight, they have big plans for LA Knight going up to WrestleMania. So I'm really looking forward to what they got going, because it looks like the man is just now hitting his stride. The catchphrases are getting over, the pops are getting louder, and it's just, he's looking to really get his foot he's really getting his footing on the main roster. So I really look forward to where LA Knight will be sitting after Royal Rumble. And they say he might have a lot going on.
Hey, man, I'm all for it, dude. I love it. LA Knight has been destined for talent when you saw him on TNA, man. You just got to put him in the right deal. He tried to make that model gimmick work and stuff like that, but he was a manager. You need him in the ring being a wrestler and being great.
Guy has a great look, great body, pause. And he just, he has the look. And yeah, him being manager for the models wasn't the best utilization of a guy of that caliber. So
of course,
great job with WWE for pivoting and turning that around, bringing in Maxine, and maximum male models have been one of the more entertaining parts of Raw here lately too.
You know what? You're right, but you know who's helping that? My man Otis. Otis, anything Otis touches, it turns to gold. And you know who we got to put over? Let's go ahead and put over Otis, man.
Now, I gotta say, but even before Otis, Mace and Mansoor, they both did their parts really well. You know, a lot of people gave that gimmick crap when it first started, and I just think that they're really running with the gimmick, you know? Like, there's been a few stars in WWE that have been given, like, terrible gimmicks that have been making $1 million out of it. So, shout out to those guys.
Roxanne Perez, man.
So, we got the young star on NXT right now, Roxanne Perez. She was the NXT Women's Champion. They had a great match with Meiko Satomura. And after the match, you know, they were running this angle where she was being trained and pushed harder than ever before in her life. And even though she defended and retained her title, she passed out after the match, was carried out on the stretcher. And now Dave Meltzer is reporting that Roxanne Perez was taken off TV to cover up an undisclosed injury. So I hope it's nothing too serious, but it's serious enough to where they're going to have a tournament to crown a new NXT Women's Champion.
Hey, man, you hate to hear it, man.
Yeah.
But she's a young talent. She's young, and, man, all we're doing is just hoping for a speedy recovery, man.
Definitely. Thoughts and prayers with her as well. Hopefully she can come back soon. It ain't too serious. But if we're going to put the title on anybody new in NXT,
if you
Tiffany Stratton's your one.
Tiffany Stratton. Okay.
Tiffany Stratton.
Okay. I like that.
Yeah. I mean, listen. My lovely milk of magnesia goddess, Nikita Lyons is hurt right now.
That's what I was thinking about.
Yeah.
I was like, if you say Nikita Lyons, I'm going to get out of here.
Hey, listen, I put that title on her and some more things. You know what I'm saying?
All right, guys, we're all out of time right now. Make sure you tune in next week. We will bring back Raw reactions. But as you guys can see, check me out on Apple Podcasts, Spotify. This video version will be on YouTube. And shout outs to the guys who are watching me on YouTube Reels. I'm getting some eyes going around, so trust and believe there will be more Reels coming out. So until next time, stay tuned.